Okay, hey everyone. It's great to be here. I'm inspired by everyone here because everyone's starting companies, and starting companies is really, really hard. I've been a 30-year entrepreneur. I've had 5 startups, 4 exits in my career. I'm on my 6th startup. And many people ask why I keep going back to the well and starting companies, because companies are really hard to build. And I think the answer I give everyone is that I just have this thirst for curiosity. I'm curious about everything. I like to solve big problems, which is probably similar to everyone in this room today. Solving big problems is something that literally is not an easy thing to do, so you have to really dig deep and understand exactly what the problem is you're trying to solve. So Jack Chorley, my co-founder, and I, over the last 3 years, have been talking about the one big problem that has been on our minds, which is the rising cost of living, especially food and groceries. Groceries are the second highest cost in a household today. And our goal is to understand why. So as we were going through the entire research of the better part of 3 years and starting our platform, we realized that there was 2 big epiphanies we had and realizations when starting Tre'Dish. Number 1, the grocery supply chain hasn't changed in 70 years. So if you think about how you've gotten your groceries over the last 70 years, it's the exact same thing. You have a food producer, that's typically a farm, that goes to wholesalers, that goes to multiple distributors, goes to a big box retail store, and that retail store usually inventories tons of products. And they have to because they're waiting for customers to come to their store. Now you have actually delivery aggregators and technology that's layered on top of that infrastructure that charges you a fee, which is Instacart and Uber Eats, on top of the highest cost grocery retail. So you can understand why the actual cost of groceries have risen up so high, and that's something that we want to solve. The other epiphany we had is that if you actually look at your weekly shopping and what you do and how you acquire and buy groceries, groceries are actually a subscription and you just haven't realized it yet. And what I mean by that is like you shop every single week. You typically shop the same day. Your budget doesn't change. And this is probably the biggest thing. Like magically your discretionary income that you have gets allocated towards everything you spend on. You can't spend more on groceries, so your budget doesn't change, and 80% of your cart stays the exact same. You buy essentials every single week. So when we realize those 2 factors, and we pair them together, we realize one big thing, which is basically grocery shopping is habitual, and it's very, very predictable. So what happens when you have predictable means, and you actually understand consumer behaviors in a very predictable way? You can change many things to create consumer impact. Number 1, you can cut out the middleman entirely. You can actually pair up grocery customers with wholesalers, butchers, farmers, and ship directly to their door at a fraction of the cost. You can actually have just-in-time inventory that you order and reduce waste. Because I don't have to worry about large retail stores that I'm housing tons of product in over inventorying product. You can actually just order for what you're actually ordering for your subscribers. You can actually build smaller, smarter warehouses, way more efficient. From a delivery perspective, you can actually cluster deliveries, and all your subscribers are in the same delivery area. You can actually give them really good economics because you're not charging over delivery costs because you have really, really bad delivery routes. And what does that all mean in the end? Roughly about 25% savings on your grocery bill. So, admittedly, this has been the hardest build of my career. Jack and I have been doing this for a while, but if you actually think of why we built this, we really believe that tech can influence everything you're doing on a day-to-day basis, including how you buy groceries. But what I did not want to do is actually layer on tech or AI on top of a broken infrastructure or a broken supply chain. So with that in mind, I want to introduce Jack Chorley, who's going to talk about Spread AI.
Oh, that one. Thank you. I think when we think of getting groceries delivered, when we think about getting groceries delivered, we often think about delivery aggregators. And like Pete said, you end up having 2 competing revenue models. You have the grocery store needs to make money, and the delivery store needs to make money. And sometimes they're the same entity, and sometimes they're not. But until you rebuild the supply chain itself, you're just going to end up inflating costs getting food to people. So frankly, we've been running a really boring company for the last year, just building a grocery store, because that's where the foundation had to start. But once you've built the underlying supply chain, once you've rebuilt everything and you've tucked everything into a really tight, economical warehouse and you've cut all of the middlemen and the costs out and you go direct to our farmers and our grocers and honestly CPG companies just like we're seeing over the side here, then you have a really good foundation and that's when it becomes exciting. What we now have is this data feed from all of our vendors. I know from our farmers what's growing well and what's not. What's seasonal? Where is it growing? Is the weather forecast good? And once I know all of this from our farmers, I can then chat to you as customers. What's your dietary preference? What do you like? What don't you like? How big's your family? And most importantly, what's your budget? Because as much as we'd like our salaries to keep increasing every week, they don't. So everyone has the same amount of money in their pocket every week, and our job isn't to try and upsell you. It's not to try and steal more of your money. It's to optimize how you shop, right? So we've built Sprout AI. It's just our latest feature in a whole suite of tools where we pull all of this data together. Because once you have this, we can start making really smart suggestions for people. I often walk around a grocery store and I don't know, why is this product not Canadian? Why is it priced the way that it is? Is this a good price or is it a bad price? Because I'm blind to it all. There's never been transparency in the grocery process. So this is an example of a customer here. She has $100 a week to spend. That's it. She's not magically going to find more money. I'm not going to be able to upsell her. My goal is to try and get her as much for her $100 as possible. And I know this week we have a surplus of blackberries from one of our farmers. Meat prices are all over the place. It's barbecue season, like they're going to fluctuate. And we're running a sale on cheese. So Sprout automatically goes, hey, why don't I shave $9 off your order this week by swapping your blueberries for blackberries, your chicken thighs for chicken breasts, your 3-year-old cheddar for 5-year-old cheddar. And just by doing that, she shaved almost 10% off her grocery bill this week. Now you can imagine if you do that week over week, she either has more money left in her pocket, which is a win, or she can buy more groceries and she's eating better for the same amount of money. Grocery prices aren't magically going to go down, and there's no quick fix. So all we can really do is work towards how do you optimize a brand new supply chain and start bringing costs down that way. I think we envision a world where a grocery store is built for you. It's personal, whereas the grocery stores you walk into today are a compromise. They're built around profit per square foot. They're built around looking pretty, advertising value, merchandising value, not around you. So we aim to use tech to keep more money in your pocket, and the more you shop, the more you save, the better it becomes for you. And Sprout AI is just our first step there.
Thank you.
We have time for a couple of Q&As.
Thank you very much. I was going to ask, how did you solve the cold start problem where you initially needed to basically have enough supply, and then for that, then in order to actually find enough customers, how did you solve that dynamic?
That's a really great question, and it's probably the biggest problem that you would have starting a grocery company, because essentially cold storage, the cold chain, and it's essentially thinking that you need to inventory tons of product was the biggest problem that we had to try to solve. We realized really quickly that the subscription model, the recurring model, can help you plan inventory well in advance. But the problem we had, it wasn't so much the perishable produce, because you can pick that up consistently nonstop over and over again, like every single day. It was the meat. So we actually changed our model to actually like unthawed fresh meat to flash frozen fresh meat. So basically, we got rid of the actual cold chain that we were worrying about, and we actually now buy bulk and arbitrage inventory. So for us, we can buy 2 skids at a time and then lock in that bulk pricing, but it stays frozen, and now flash frozen meat can stay fresh for a month. So that was the one big unlock that we had. But you're right, that's probably the biggest challenge that people have, is that when they think they have to actually start a grocery store, they have to start with like massive freezer space, massive fridge space. So that was on the freezer side. On the fridge side, we had like perishable items on grocery, very specifically produce, that we can do inventory turns and order just-in-time inventory very, very quickly. So because we have subscription customers that are very recurring in nature, we know exactly how to order, when to order, and we order every other day.
I was just curious if you're planning to or currently engaging in selling the shopping behavior data to businesses, and whether they would be bespoke promotions to individual shoppers and or just aggregate data for the shopping.
I think at the moment, honestly, it's probably our biggest asset, and it's not something we're looking to share actively at the moment. I think aggregated data could still be very powerful, and frankly, we're looking to change an industry. We're not trying to be the sole winner here. I think if there's a way that this data can help inform better groceries for Canada, for stores across Canada, then it's worth sharing. And it's worth sharing some of the tech that we're building. It's worth sharing some of the AI improvements that can bolt into other grocery stores, because if everyone's winning and everyone's going down that line, then it's better for all Canadians, and we're happy to be at the forefront of that.
Hi, great company, great concept. I love it. We're trying to build a marketplace for corporate gifts, essentially democratizing corporate gifts. And essentially, I'd love to hear your strategy or your experience with onboarding suppliers, what you looked for, the criteria, perhaps the challenges that you faced as you selected who you were buying from.
That's a great question. So it's like every startup journey. Like you fumble around, figure out stuff, thinking you're negotiating something that actually isn't a good negotiated price. But we started off with a few different procured suppliers in which we thought we were getting a great price. But it's not simply the price that you're looking for, it's like how they actually ship you product, the type of relationship that you can establish, the type of bulk inventory you can acquire. So we made tons of mistakes, and that's gonna happen. And that's why I genuinely believe, like from a grocery and food perspective, it's really, really hard to figure out. And you just need to, like every kind of entrepreneurial journey, you just need to make mistakes, tons of them. But when you actually get into that sequence where you actually have a good supplier that understands your model, you start to negotiate really great deals. So we have one, candidly, it's one of the best companies that we work with. It's a company called Butcher Shop. And Butcher Shop is out of Toronto, but they're the largest butcher for restaurant grade type of meat. So we work with them very intimately. They actually provide us like skids of product and stuff, and they do the flash frozen products for us, vacuum sealed. So for us, it's like once you establish that relationship, you kind of double down on it. So it's a matter of trial and error, but for the most part, you have to understand your business model first and foremost, and then you kind of work suppliers after that.
Hi there. My name is Aries, a founder of Genius Labs AI and Agent Genius AI. I think great problem to solve. I agree with the problem statement. My question is, during your due diligence, what was the #1 data that you found out to be really like a moat? The reason why you really move forward in solving that problem?
That's a great question. It's near and dear to my heart. So I am also an investor as well. I run a family office called A-List Ventures. But I'm a founder at heart. Like I said, I love kind of solving big problems. But the one thing I've seen a ton of in the last 4 years is basically AI that sits on top of a broken infrastructure. So it's not really a moat in any way, shape, or form. It's again, like you have a lot of companies that are actually worried in many ways, because they're worried that their valuations won't hold, because they're essentially building a wrapper on top of like an existing system that can get disrupted by Claude. So when we built Tre'Dish, we built it very, very intentionally to disrupt the underlying supply chain first and foremost, because that's where all the hard work is. And that's kind of our moat, is that no one really wants to do the hard work anymore, because it's really hard to actually disrupt that type of infrastructure. So I believe that's our moat, is that we rebuilt the supply chain over 3 years, understanding exactly what customers want and understanding how we can save people money, first and foremost.
Thank you.